और इस वक्त निर्मला सीतारमन बजट पर बात कर रही हैं राज्यसभा में, उनको सुनते हैं।
Would be guided. That guidance which comes from the PM Gati Shakti was essentially because we needed to bring in greater synergy. We wanted to bring in greater complementarity between the various infrastructure spending that we are undertaking, because it's not to say that the infrastructure spending has never happened in this country. It has happened. But what we find over the decades, that each project by itself, standalone in its nature, hadn't given the benefit or the multiplier which such an investment should have given us. So you brought in a manufacturing zone, or you built a road somewhere, a highway somewhere, but unfortunately the synergy which had to come through hadn't come through, or partly came through, but actually maximization was not possible. And therefore we thought, if there is a greater synergy between all these public expended infrastructure projects that are being created, it should be to the point of maximizing the outcome of such infrastructure which is getting built, at least in the forthcoming 25 years, the Amrit Kal that we talk about, leading India towards 100. And therefore the Gati Shakti guiding us for building infrastructure all across the country, being the focus and the continuity from last year on infra as an instrument for giving the stimulus to the economy. So I said the budget aims at continuity. The continuity is in giving the stimulus through public expenditure. We also wanted to underline the stability and sustainable recovery that we so need now. At a time when the economy has to grow and grow at a good pace, it is important for the economy also to be stabilized. The sustainable growth is what is going to ensure that India remains on the top, and unless that level of growth is maintained, we are not going to be having the trickle-down effect of the economy and the benefits of the economy reaching the poorest of the poor. So stable and sustainable recovery was one of the important motives and objectives of this budget, for having been drawn it the way we have drawn it. Policy prescription for it had already been given in the last budget. Again, the continuity principle guides us even in that, so that disinvestment or privatization or ease of doing business, and also adapting technology in all our fields of governance, whether it is digital, getting good access to the remote areas, whether it is digital related to financial inclusion, whether it is digital inclusion for the sake of medical and health facilities, and digital for also education. So that technology and digital adaptation are also the instruments through which we want to work during this Amrit Kal, so that India at 100 would have the lead advantage which many countries are just starting to do. We would be leading in that field of digital technology and technology adaptation, leading to better transparency in governance and accountability also. These are two very important, other than the fact that it is easing common man's financial inclusion process or education or health related matters. It also shows in a very transparent manner how governance takes place in this country. So technology for the sake of all these benefits are also being prioritized in this budget. One example of that is bringing in drone as a instrument or as a very effective tool for improving and modernizing India's agriculture. Now, when you bring in drone, it has got several adaptations. Some members, Amar Patnaik and others, spoke about what are we doing about agriculture. By bringing in drone, we are able to bring in efficiencies in the use of fertilizers, in the use of pesticides, and also making a good technology-driven assessment of the crop density, and also possibly predicting the output, the size of the output. Also to get the contours of the field and so on. The drone technology today also has the potential for our rural youth to get into this field, for which we have given a training, skilling program which will run for a few years when people can become adept at using drone technologies so that our agriculture can benefit from such a development. Startups are being encouraged. We saw that nowhere else in the globe, the robust way in which startups are coming out in this country. Nearly 45 of them have now come between 2021 as unicorns. They've benefited because access to funds are made easy in India. India's own funds, PE funds and VCs, are now able to support them, and therefore a lot of youth who believe in innovation, who have ideas, who can create employment, who are able to give instant solutions for our legacy problems, whether it is housing, whether it is laying of roads, whether in storage of grains, such critical ideas with which they are now contributing to the economy and bringing in a newer signature to the Indian economy are being supported in this budget as well as last, and the last year's support to the startups have shown tangible results for all of us to see. And in that sense, even this budget therefore also announces a committee, high-level committee to be formed for understanding how best we can have more resources within India through the PEs and also venture capital funds for enabling more such funding of startups and other business ventures, which will be for our own youth, for our own monies, and for our own economy to speed up in terms of achieving higher growth. So the budget, sir, actually speaks of stability. It continues some of the policies of last year, and that policy will guide us towards next 25 years. We will see modern infrastructure.
तो अभी आप वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण को सुन रहे थे, जो कि राज्यसभा में बजट पर बातचीत कर रही थी। वक्त हो गया एक छोटे से ब्रेक का। खबरें और भी हैं, कहीं मत जाइए, बने रहिए मिरर नाउ के साथ।